All right, 3, 4a. So this one's getting broken up too. This is solving multi-step inequalities. And here's the good news again. We did this with equations. Now we're doing it with inequalities. So your steps are the same. The only thing that's different now is, do I flip my sign or do I not? But otherwise, it's exactly like what we did in chapter 2, where we were solving equations all the time, okay? So we're going to solve some equations. First example, they're inequalities, sorry. We're going to solve inequalities, but they look like equations. 9 plus 4t is greater than 21, okay? For those of you that found it helpful to put that vertical line in, where's the vertical line going to go? On the symbol, right? So if you need that line in, put it in. That's what's telling you, where do I do it? Which side am I doing things to, right? Okay, so in this setup, 9 plus 4t is greater than 21. Do we add and subtract first, or do we multiply and divide first? You add and subtract first, right? It's reverse PEMDAS. So what do I add or subtract right now? You're going to take away the 9. So take away 9 from both sides. This is gone. You're left with 4t. Is my symbol going to flip? No, because we subtracted, right? We didn't multiply or divide by a negative. So your symbol's going to stay the same. 21 minus 9 is 12. Okay, so 4t is greater than 12. Step 2, what do? You divide. So we're going to divide by 4, divide by 4. This is t. Do I flip my symbol? No. We divided by a positive. We leave our symbol the same. So t is greater than 3. And you're done, right? Now, you can always check your answer. If you plug that number in, these should be equal to each other, the left side and the right side. Then you know you got the right value. Just keep in mind, t has to be greater than 3. 3 is not a solution, right? It's not greater than or equal to. It's t is greater than 3. Questions on that? Okay, example 2. This one takes a little bit of thought. There's 2 of these in the homework, only 2 word problems. Here's what it says for this one. In a community garden, you want to fence in a veggie garden that's next to your friend's garden. Okay, so your friend has a garden right here. Okay, so there's your friend's garden. It's a rectangle. You want to fence in a garden next to your friend's, and your friend's already has a fence around it. So that means your garden is going to go something like this. So how many edges, how many fencing sides do you need? 3. You need 3, right? Because your friend already has this side taken care of with a fence. You need this side, and this side. So you need that much fencing for your garden. Okay? Here's what it says. You have, oops, scratch that. You have at most, and there's your key word that helps you to see what symbol you're going to be using. You have at most 42 feet of fencing. Okay. What are the possible lengths of your garden? Okay, and here's what we know. Your friend's garden here, this side, is 12 feet. Okay, so the one side we already have is 12 feet. We want to know, what could the lengths be? Okay. Well, if your friend's garden over here has to be 12 feet, then this opposite side will also be 12 feet, right? Oh, you know what? Maybe we're not going to use our friend's fence. Yeah, I guess we will now, because that's how I explained it to you. That's not how I did it before, but that's okay. So if I'm trying to figure out what L could be, can anyone set up an inequality for me? What do we have to do here? How many L's? 2, right? You have 2 L's. Okay, so the 2 times whatever that length will be, plus what other length do we have? We know we need to cover the 12 here on the right side, right? So 2L plus 12, not equals. We have to figure out what symbol do I have to put here, because we have at most 42 feet. Okay, so could we use 42 feet? If it's at most 42. Is 42 allowed to be an answer? Yeah, it can be 42, right? If it's at most 42, then 42 is included in that. Okay, so we know it's going to have the equal sign under it. We have to figure out, is it greater than or less than? So basically we're saying this amount here has to be what compared to 42? If 42 is the most we can use. No, the other way, less than or equal to, right? Because this amount that we actually use can be 42, but it can't be more than 42. So it has to be less than or equal to 42. Okay, so that's our inequality. I'm going to rewrite it now that we're done with scribbling all over. 2L plus 12 is less than or equal to 42. Okay, how do we solve that? What's our first step? Take away the 12. So you're going to go minus 12 here and minus 12 here. And you get 2L on the left. Do I flip my symbol? Nope, because we're just subtracting. 2L is less than 30. Okay? Then what do I do? Divide. Do I flip my symbol? No, because we divided by a positive. So L is less than or equal to 15. That means the length of our garden, okay, so this length and this length can be 15 feet or less if we're going to use at most 42 feet. Okay, 2-step inequality there. All right, ready to take it up a notch? Add another step? You are. You guys know how to do this. Yes, you do. Watch. I promise. It's the distributive property now. All right, hey, we're doing math. What do I do first in this setup? You have to distribute, right? We have to distribute the 3 to both parts. Don't forget to do both parts. That's the most common mistake. Ryan, put your iPad away. So this is going to be 3t plus what? Plus 3. 3 times 1 minus 4t is greater than or equal to negative 5. Okay? If you need the line, draw the line in. Okay, so what's the first thing we have to do here? You need to combine like terms, right? We have 2 different sets of t's, both on the left side. So you're not going to get rid of them right now. You're going to combine them, okay? So you're doing 3t minus 4t. What's 3t minus 4t? Negative 1, right? So negative 1t, 3 minus 4, plus 3 is greater than or equal to negative 5. What's my next step going to be? Now you're going to subtract 3. Okay, am I flipping my symbol? No, because we're subtracting. Greater than or equal to negative 5 minus 3 is negative 8. Okay, what's my next step? Divide by what? Divide by negative 1, right? If we're dividing by a negative on both sides, you flip it. Okay, so I would flip it right away. Just flip it over. Then you can simplify. So this becomes t is less than or equal to, what's negative 8 divided by negative 1? 8. And that would be your answer. Okay? Questions on that? Okay, last one. What if I give you 15 is less than or equal to 5 minus 2 times 4m plus 7? Okay? Take your time on these. If you slow down and think about what is the process, they're really not bad. It's when you try to rush and let yourself get overwhelmed by it that it feels like a ton of steps. But if you just take it one step at a time, these are not bad. Okay, you've done these a bunch of times now with equations. We're just throwing an inequality symbol in. What's the first thing you're going to do in this problem? You're going to distribute, right? We're going to distribute this first. It is negative. You need to distribute a -2 because you want to keep the symbol that's with the number. Okay, so you're going to have 15 is less than or equal to 5, and then -2 times 4m is what? -8m. Don't drop your variable there. And then what's your next one going to be? -14. So it looks like -14. Okay? Because you're distributing a -2 to both. So far, so good? Okay. Be careful here. What's the next thing you do? 5 minus 14, right? Find your like terms. My like terms are the 5 and the -14. So you're going to go 5 minus 14. So you have 15 less than or equal to 5 minus 14 is a -9. And then what are you left with? Minus 8m. Okay, so far we've only done stuff on one side of our equation, of our inequality. Okay? What do I do next? You're going to add the 9 to both sides, right? You're going to get that 9 out of there. So add 9 and add 9. Do I flip my symbol? No. So it's going to be 24 is less than or equal to, this is gone. Over here we have a -8m. Okay? You good? Okay, so last step, you have to divide by what? By -8, okay? So divide by -8. Am I flipping? Yes, because you divided by a negative on both sides, right? So what was less than or equal to becomes greater than or equal to. Over here, you just have an m. Over here, you have a -3. You are welcome to leave your answer like that. But now if you have to graph it, keep in mind your arrow would point to the right. You need to shade to the left because your m is at the end. If you'd rather see it the other way, flip the whole thing over. M is less than or equal to -3. Okay, so I will take either one of those as your final answer. But if you're concerned about graphing it, the bottom one is probably a better bet. Because then when you go to graph it, here's -3. Open or close dot? Close dot, and you're going to go to the left because this would point to the left. Right? M has to be less than or equal to -3. So all the numbers smaller than that. Questions? That's your second lesson. Okay? You still have like 22 minutes. So at least finish one. If you're working, you should be able to at least finish one. But probably get a jump on the second as well.